Hello. Hey, guys. 2 more minutes. I'm going to start the show. Just to bear with me, So we are, make sure that everything is good. That's why I did this. So 2 more minutes. We'll be starting the live stream. And the streaming is already we're doing live stream already. So in 1 more minute, I'm going to start talking about the topic today. Um, it is a I don't know where is all we are all a lot of it's getting hot in Atlanta area, you know. But I don't know everywhere in the world global warming or not. I don't know much about it. So could be anything, right? So Jennifer, you can talk. Yes, we can have a conversation sometimes. So how is the
All
weather
right.
in
Cool.
Omaha,
Hello,
Nebraska?
everyone. Yeah, coming to
How
you
is the
from
weather in
Omaha,
Nebraska?
Nebraska. Yep.
How is weather? Is it hot,
The
cold?
weather is kind of chilly and a little rainy. So
Oh, it's hot up here.
springtime weather. Anyway, yeah. So I'm excited to hear you talk about entropy. So it's
Okay.
wonderful.
Yeah. So you're part of it. You've been helping me to do this, but it is and that why people different parts of the world are joining. That's a great exciting thing about it. Last one watched by several thousands of people, hundreds of people, and not thousands, almost thousands of people watching it, and I'm very excited about the response. you know. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ramana Anamraju. I'm a president for Medbricks. Um, I'm here to, second part of the series of show from my book. Science is not a subject. Science must be a lifestyle. This is the book I have written. There is a lady in the side waiting for in the waiting. She helped me out quite a bit, and then there are several people helping me, Penny in Virginia and other people really did a great contributions here. um, Jennifer has been working with me for a long time on this book and everything. She really helped me to put together a book. It's not easy, but we did it. Okay. But anyway, I want to shout out to a couple of friends here. Before I talk about the topic, is my friend Dr. Wayne Kong. He is a former president of Association of Black Cardiologists. He has written a book. If you see it, it is called Wayne's World. Has a lot of wisdom inside. To be honest with you, is a former president of Association of Black Cardiologists. He is a PhD in psychology, and he wrote several columns for a newspaper in Georgia. And really exciting. I read a few articles. They're really good. There's a lot of wisdom. It's called Wayne's World. You know, you can get in Amazon or I don't know Springer. I will ask him. Yeah, I will put a in my link in my description in my YouTube videos on this one. But thank you, Dr. Kong. You were a great friend and helping me all these years. Thank you. The other one is today joined with me is another person. She's a oh, I hope she's watching, and Irene Dwanka. She is a chief equity officer for IBM and IBM Cloud actually. So welcome. Um, the topic is the entropy. Entropy is a very strange word. Even this subject is so elusive and enigmatic. Entropy is everywhere. Everywhere you see that. So I want to show you a quick video on this one, and then I will proceed to the presentation because you must watch it. It is important to organize your life, your job, your career, anything related to our whole thing, our whole spectrum of life. Entropy plays a role. I think you should watch it, and then I think then I hope you stay for the presentation also. But it is definitely one of the things that we need to pay attention as overwhelming information abundance nowadays. So let me share with you the screen that I'm going to play that video. Okay. Chrome tab. I'm going to say Chrome tab. Okay. I'm going to play right now. Share audio. Yeah, share tab. So this is going to be very interesting. I'm going to play. Okay. Hello, my name is Ramana Annamaraju. I'm going to introduce you to one of the most enigmatic and elusive concepts in the entire field of science from my book, Science is Not a Subject, Science Must Be a Lifestyle. The concept is called entropy. I'm focusing on one aspect of entropy related to information and its connection with the present day healthcare challenges. Entropy is like a ghost, but it is a mean one. You don't see it, you cannot talk to it, it never leaves you, it threatens your job, it tries to destroy your health, it affects your performance, it follows you wherever you go and whatever you do. You feel and see only its destruction. It is not your competitor you need to worry. You need to worry about this elusive ghost. It is your enemy number one. Please pay attention. It makes a difference in your career, in your job, and your duties. If you are a policymaker, you have to understand the impact of money and the economy of your citizens. If you are the CEO of a healthcare system, you have to be concerned about access to equity for all your members. And if you are a software engineer, you need to analyze simplicity versus complexity with your user experience design. As I mentioned before, entropy is your number one enemy. It is true what they say, know your enemy first, then you can come up with a strategy to deal with it. We need to start with the question how much you know and how much you don't know about a system you're working on. This is not some philosophical or a new age question. You have to quantify with the numbers. It is a scientific question to the core. The answer is not that easy. Fortunately, there was a guy, smarter than all of us, gave a stunning insight. His name is Ludwig Boltzmann, an Austrian physicist, lived in the latter part of 1800s, came up with a statistical formula for known versus unknown. It is not just a formula, it is a law, second law of thermodynamics. In urban slang, we call it as a law of entropy. The law is not limited to known versus unknown, it is present everywhere, materials and processes and even life itself. Entropy is a true measure of your ignorance of a system. You may say, I don't know a lot of things, but I know what I know, and what I don't know, I don't know. This statement may seem right before you know about the law of entropy. The law of entropy says the unknown does not sit idle. It is constantly attacking your known systems. Entropy wants you to become ignorant and leaves you in constant confusion. It creates a chaos, your understanding of any system dwindling every day by law of entropy. Only way out is to fight it. Entropy is a tough concept to comprehend. I will do my best here with a simple example. You see a picture of a teacup with the two sugar cubes in the bottom and the top teacup is mixed with the sugar. Adding two cubes of sugar makes you happier, but your happiness does not come for free. I know sugar prices are going up, still worse, the law of entropy says your ignorance is also going up. You have known knowledge that there are two sugar cubes. Since you know something makes the bottom cup low entropy state. Now, when you mix the sugar, you turn the simple system into a complex system. Even if I ask you, you cannot get sugar cubes back. Sugar is melted away and you lost all the information about the sugar cubes. The irreversibility of the process increases the state of entropy. In a split second, you made the top cup in a higher entropy state. Known system became an unknown. Just it applies to a teacup, this irreversibility is evident everywhere and everything you do. A simple realization that if you create a process for your company with some data variables, the complexity slowly seeps in. It means you lost control of your process and the information becomes chaotic. But if you keep tabs on what it takes to reverse the process to the initial state, it saves you time, money, and energy. You're keeping the ghost of entropy at bay. Life itself is a low entropy system. Zoom in or zoom out, your cells to your entire body do hand to hand combat with the law of entropy to keep you healthy and alive. Your number one enemy is waiting at outskirts of your life and your company. Boltzmann revealed this book of knowledge and wisdom about the universe with his famous equation. He could not convince his peers about his theory. Later, Boltzmann committed suicide, and his famous formula was written on his tombstone. Devil also like numbers. Chaos may be its nickname, but it is speaking the nature's language, that is mathematics. Cancer is cellular chaos. There is no diagnostic equipment can measure the exact progression, but with the entropy algorithms, you can extract patterns from seemingly chaotic information. One such algorithm came from an unrelated field, football, yes, game of soccer. Soccer fanatics wanted to know who is going to win the World Cup that is being held every 4 years. The fans include a number of scientists. They created an algorithm called World Cup Optimization Algorithm. I don't know how much it is useful in predicting the World Cup winner, but it is helping to detect and predict the progression of cancer. They are testing with the cancer of melanoma and breast cancer. Boltzmann gave the formula for entropy, but a brilliant mathematician and engineer at the Bell Labs, which became AT&T now, gave a different twist to the concept of entropy. His name is Claude Elwood Shannon. The theory bears his name. It is called Shannon entropy. According to Shannon, the information is central to all processes.
Did, which I think he's very widely known for, is this notion of a fundamental limit. No matter what you do, as long as you're working with a certain amount of bandwidth, and as long as you're dealing with signals that are only so strong in the face of noise that you confront, no matter what you do, you cannot transmit more than a certain rate.
Here is one remarkable example how you can employ Shannon entropy to healthcare equity and access. The world of medicine made a huge progress in diagnostics and treatments, but healthcare delivery systems are not. A significant people on the planet don't see those benefits. Health inequities you can witness in rural and urban America's landscape, and worse, everywhere else. Health delivery system is riddled with complexities. It may be partially political, but it is also filled with logistical complexities. Variants like remote geography, disease burden, and economic backgrounds, to name a few. Where there is a complexity, law of entropy shines. Shannon entropy is successfully utilized by countries like Iran, Turkey, and Greece to address the inequities in healthcare delivery by allocating and utilizing existing resources more efficiently. Truly a remarkable tribute to human mind how an obscure 18th century physicist from Austria and 21st century brilliant mathematician from MIT can help humanity by discovering the hidden laws of nature. Thank you for listening. You can read in my book further. Science is not a subject, science must be a lifestyle. I hope you got some idea about the entropy. It is a video that I made because entropy is very complex even for physics students. It goes in so many directions. It's actually it is a second law of thermodynamics. Thermodynamics means the heat transfer between the two bodies. The transfer of heat from hot body to the cold one. Simple as that, but it is a complex. The complexities behind that is humongous. That's what it creates the life. For example, the life is created between the you know in the icebergs in the Antarctica or Arctic, northern Arctic. So what it is that when you have iceberg inside the water, there's two different temperatures. One is iceberg, is a the very cold temperatures, right? And then water is, and water temperature is a less than zero in the iceberg. So there is a constant interaction between the wall, between the hot and cold in the inside under the water. That interaction created a life. People think it is a genesis for life. That's what the people think. So it's one of the theories, strong theories behind the life, origins of life. But anyway, I want to show you, but I hope you can see my screen. Do you see my screen, Jennifer? Can you see the presentation, or I need to share the screen and the presentation?
Nope, you're. It looks good. Entropy Ghost is on, so
Yeah,
your
it is
first.
clearly, they can read it, right? Yeah. Okay, thank you. You know, entropy is like a ghost. You know, you cannot see it, you cannot touch it. It is not a property that you can immediately see. It is a state of a system. It is a state of a system. That is what it is. So it affects everything. You know, more you understand it, more you can do better with your life and with your job and with your health. All those things. I will. I will explain to you how it works in that in the already in the video. I did mention a little bit about it. So why you need to know entropy? If you are it's a innovation, is a fundamental requirement for innovation, because we have so many apps. For example, healthcare. You know, every day hundreds of apps were pushing on us. There is no sense. It is a headless chicken. So if you have that many apps are there, it's very difficult to follow. So innovation has to be a ecosystem. It has to be organized. That means you have to decrease the entropy. Higher entropy means disorder. Order to disorder. Entropy goes from order to disorder. That's a natural progression of the universe, natural progression of the nature itself. So the nature embodies this law, is a law to disorder. You know, the things go from bad to worse, good to bad, bad to worse. It is a strange kind of a concept, but it is very real. You know, so it is, when you design a system, it is present everywhere, not only in the universe itself. It is in our bodies, in our cells, in our processes that you create, and the materials you produce. All of them, the entropy is present. If you are a president of a country, the economy, well, you need to understand how the money moves. That is, entropy is a very good answer for that. If you are a president of a CEO of a healthcare system, you must understand the health equities, and then your fair share of the complexities, how you're delivering the healthcare. The delivery is another complex system. So that's what you need. Entropy, understanding entropy will help. And if you're a software designer, so like a UX design, you need UX design is a very complex design. You know, I'm learning from my son. You know, he's teaching me UX research part of it. It's you have to really understand what is the minimum simplicity versus complexity. How much minimum you can get away. You know, Steve Jobs used to say that simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. That is so true with the case of entropy, in fact. So we must you must pay attention to entropy, concept of entropy. Entropy says, I'm focusing on one aspect of entropy, is they apply to the information, how the information works with the entropy. Entropy works with the information, other way around, in fact. So we have, everybody know, I know a lot of people say this to me in the meetings. I know what I know, I don't know what I don't know. That is a fact. If you, before you know the law of entropy, the law of entropy says that the unknown, the known systems that you have, the known things that you have, the unknown thing slowly encroaching the known system. It doesn't keep you, oh, I know what I know is fair and good, but it's not true. What it's saying is it will mess up your known systems. Unknown systems come and encroach your. That's a natural progression of the law of entropy says that. Second law of thermodynamics, it is a universal law. It says that your known systems become messed up with unknown systems. That is always the case. That you have to fight for it. To control that process, you have to fight for that. You know, that is a second law of thermodynamics. But let me show you one simple example of how that system works, how simplicity becomes a complex system. Um, we have one of the guests is Dr. Chani Pingali, is a friend of mine, and he's in Silicon Valley. He's a executive in Workday. He did several research papers on the complex systems. In physics is very important in the complex systems are, so I give you a simple how a simple system turning into a complex system. Here is the bottom cup is a 2 sugar cubes and then a cup of tea you have. So when that is we consider as a low entropy system, because there are sugar cubes are there, a known system. Then immediately put the sugar cubes in the top cup. So what it does is the top cup becomes, then sugar cubes are melted away. Then if I ask you, can you get me my sugar cubes back? You said that no, impossible, is already melted away. That is what complexity creates. You do not have access to sugar cubes anymore. They melted away. You don't know where those sugar molecules are. So you lost information there. When you lose the information, your entropy goes higher, your complexity goes higher, your entropy goes higher. So a simple act that you're doing, mixing sugar with the tea, makes a simple system, makes it complicated system, complex system. So not only it applies to the sugar in the tea, it applies in every process that you touch, every process. You design a software, you design a platform, or you design anything that you want to design. This entropy is present. So you must pay attention to the entropy there. So how can you control that? How can you control that entropy? Just I want to say that only way is if you the trick is that you need to, if the way to control the entropy keeps it lower or decrease the entropy, is the only way is you keep track of what it takes to reverse the process. In this particular instance is a reversible process. The sugar is melted away. It is a very extremely complex system. But if you want to create a lower entropy system, you always think about what it takes for me, either money, energy, resources, what it takes for me to reverse it back. If you know that clearly, I think you're in control of your own company, you're in control of your own process, everything else, even health. So that's very important. So when you design a systems, you always think about what it takes to reverse the process to the initial state where you started it. So always tell the designers, okay, you created a next step, you added a nice whistle and bustle thing. What it takes for me to go back to the first step? That's always ask a question. And what it takes to resource not only you should ask your team what it takes to how much money and energy and the resources it takes to go back to the initial state. If you understand that, I think you'll do very well in your company and your career and your job. So here I'm focusing on entropy with the healthcare. That's as I mentioned in the beginning. So how the entropy helps in detecting cancers, or how you can apply to your processes like healthcare equity and access. That is the thing I'm going to talk about it. So very surprisingly, if you sorry, I'm going to go back. The law of entropy says order to disorder, always as a natural progression. If you have a orderly system, becomes a disorder. That is your cells in our bodies. Always we have to do hand-to-hand combat with the law of entropy, because in order to maintain life, our cells maintain life, they have to fight every day, every second with the law of entropy to keep the law low. Our body, our cells, our bodies are the low entropy system. So we are creating a low entropy system against the natural law. The natural law says that I want to go bad, so you have to fight for it. That's why you have to really our bodies will fight. Whatever you eat is important. Whatever you put in your body, because you're trying to bring the entropy state lower. That's what the life is. So make sure that you understand the law of entropy in every aspect of life, and health, in fact. So the natural progression is anything orderly system, it eventually goes to disorder. That's a natural progression. You cannot stop it. That's a only thing is you can temporarily you can bring it back and hold it back for a while. That's what it does. But you know that is a clearly a mathematical formula is invented by Boltzmann. Is a is is a 18th century, 19th century physicist from Austria. He was brilliant man. He's a genius, and he came up with this thermodynamical second law of the law of entropy, second law of thermodynamics. When he came out, this law, it is a very revealing, in fact. So he gave a mathematical formulas. It is not just a concept. It is a mathematically driven formula, statistical mechanics formula. So he gave a very strong formula for this kind of a progression. So we can use that formula to detect cancer, because if you have a mammogram, for example, on the left side, the breast is, the people who I used to have an imaging center, there's a lot of, when you do mammograms, or breast MRI, a lot of young woman's breast is dense and looks like a fatty tissues, look like a abnormal pathology, but it's not, because how do you know it's not a? So when you try to do the incision and biopsies, then the next time when it heals, it becomes that scar tissue looks like another abnormal pathology, and then again a surgeon has to go there and do it. This is a big problem, so in radiology and in the surgery side. So the best way to solve that problem is using the entropy mathematics. You can solve that through entropy. So how the progression, you take a baseline mammogram, if you take it, then you see the progression, how it does. That is amazing mathematics is done comes from the law of entropy. So we can use the law of entropy use to detect the progression of, even once it is the how that the pathology is moving. If it is changing rapidly, then means immediately you need to make focus on that one. Without, that is a very important base structure. You can get it from the law of entropy. Law of entropy can give you a clear direction how that cancer growth is going, or if there is not a cancer or not. You will know exactly with the law of entropy mathematics. Where this mathematics came from? Who applied this law of entropy, which is a law of physics, who applied to the life itself? There is a gentleman, is a Kapoor, is a Narayan Kapoor from IIT Kanpur, from my home country, IIT Kanpur. He was a mathematics professor. He came up with I think he's an electrical engineering also. I'm not sure. He's a mathematics and electrical engineering. So he came up with he applied a law of entropy to the life itself, or to the cells, to the life. So I think it was an amazing application. If that kind of a discovery, that you can apply the law of entropy to the cells and everything. That is so you can use that mathematics to detect cancer. So the actual algorithm came from by Kapoor, is the one. The Kapoor method is actually the name for that algorithm. Is called Kapoor method. So the Kapoor method, they used it. It came from a very strange field. It's football, soccer. It's not football, American football. It's a soccer from world of soccer. The whole world knows soccer. They call football, so I have to call it football. Okay, so it is a game of soccer. There are, if you live in other countries, you will know how fanatic they are. They beat up each other in England, and there are problems. So it's much more violent sometimes. So the really fanatics, you see mathematicians, scientists, everybody goes to are crazy about this football. So some of the mathematicians, scientists got together, and then they said that, okay, we can create a algorithm. Is actually one Iranian physics professor. He came up with an algorithm called World Cup optimization algorithm. It is basically Shannon is a. I will talk about Claude Shannon first. This gentleman before. So they use the Shannon entropy. Shannon entropy. Let me introduce you who is Shannon is. Claude Shannon Claude Elwood Shannon is his middle name. He is an American mathematics engineer. Is engineer actually, Bell Labs. He was employed at the Bell Labs engineer. Is a brilliant genius. Um, he was referred as a father of information theory. So while he is working on, in the video, I see Ramesh is talking about how the communication problems are. When there was a communication between the noise it's coming, he found out if I want to send you a information from a place A to place B, what it takes, how much information is required, send it with the error free, without error. That to create that algorithm, he came up with a formula. It's a brilliant formula. So he said that this is the mechanism we need to send a least amount of information to to make sure without any errors. That is his formula. It's called Shannon entropy. The formula looks like exactly look like a law of entropy, the second law of thermodynamics. That's why they call Shannon entropy. In fact, that's why they put a base his name, Shannon entropy. So it is order to disorder. He just a noise is a disorder, right? When you're sending communication from place A to place B, on the telephone lines, the noise is the disorder. So eventually, the communication at the end, the receiver receiving the communication with a disorderly communication. So we want to minimize that. He said that what it takes to minimize that kind of a thing, that what he came up with, the formula is called Shannon entropy. It is so powerful, Shannon entropy. In fact, they refer him as a father of information theory. What he did was, the Shannon, the fanatics in the one of the this football fanatics. They get mad if I say fanatics. They're crazy for football people, and all over the mathematicians and physicists. They came up with an algorithm, World Cup optimization algorithm, to see who is going to win the World Cup. They put all the parameters, the statistics, and they created a statistical process, and then the behavioral problems, and they combined with the talent and everything, all the history. It came up with some kind of a crazy mathematics they put together. They came up with a formula of who is going to win in the World Cup that is being held every 4 years. But I don't know whether how much is useful there. But the fact is, they used that algorithm in the detection of cancer. That is a very interesting concept. Now they're using that optimization algorithm. They use in the cancer, breast cancer, and in the melanoma cancer. They're using it right now. Okay, so think about that. How a football entirely a law from the universe, a law from a universe, a natural embedded law from the universe to a football to the cancer detection. It's a phenomenal. It's just amazing to think about it. you know so the next one is, so the 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 so that is how you can detect a lot of other pathologies with the entropy. In fact, I was talking about DNA, porcinic DNA. How do they do that with the entropy, law of entropy? That another time I will talk about that. But next one, I'm going to talk about health entropy, healthcare equity, and access. In the United States, this is a big thing. People really bogged down with a lot of racial things, and they think it's a black versus white. Possibly it's parts of it, right? And then physician patient population ratio. Suppose, according to the HPSA designation, they say every 3,000 patients you need to have one physician. I don't know whether that is the right mechanism or not. That's so too simple to apply to the healthcare shortage areas. The reason is, suppose I used to place doctors in the country, I went to Bradshaw, West Virginia. Believe me or not, it is you have to go through all the in the mountains, in the Appalachian mountains. It is there is a Dr. Patel is there, and I was visiting him one time. They have a black lung disease, one of the very strange disease is related to that area. It is particularly in they work in the coal mines. So the diseases are very prevalent in that area. So that's a remote geography itself. It's a You have to go through mountains. In fact, if you drive in the nighttime or in the winter time, it's very difficult to drive. Even in the United States, even the well paved roads, it's very difficult to get there in the winter time. Highway 23, I remember that. So it goes through Kentucky, Pikeville, all those places. You see if you want to do HPSC areas, health shortage areas, drive from Asheville, North Carolina, to all the way to Kentucky through Highway 23. You will meet every healthcare shortage area that you can have come across. But that is a remote geography and a disease burden. Some people have multiple diseases. Some high diabetes, hypertension. Some urban areas, some ethnic races. The black population have a high hypertension. Indians have a diabetes. These are multiple diseases come along with it. Chronic disease burden is higher in certain ethnic populations. We have to pay attention to that economic burden. How much they can afford to pay. We used to do the ultrasound in a small towns in Georgia. I said that I can tell you there are some women cannot afford ultrasound. They used to find out at the 7th month that they're having a twins. At that time, it's a really sad state. How advanced the country is still lagging behind providing health equity and access to people. It's really sad in that sense. So we have tools available to us. Shannon entropy is one of the best tools we can get. In fact, if you use that Shannon entropy mathematics to it, I think we can solve some of the problems at least. So it is not just all these factors are involved. It's a complex factors. Is a healthcare delivery. We are very good in finding the diseases, and the diagnostics are very good. Treatments are very well done nowadays. But the healthcare delivery system really at the primitive stage still. It is every healthcare system I see, their delivery is really failing them. That's what the American healthcare patients complaining. The lowest confidence among healthcare system and their healthcare providers and everything is lowest confidence rate. 6 out of 10 people don't trust their medicine. It's sad. The reason is that this health delivery system really failed them, in fact. So we need to improve this health delivery system a much more different way than this one. Let me tell you, who you will be surprised who did this better than who followed this thing. You see the two guys? Sorry, let me go back. You see the two guys? They are diametrically opposite in every aspect. One is American engineer, man of science. Other guy is a theocrat and is a religious head of the Iran. He was Ayatollah Khomeini. At the left side is a Shannon, Claude Shannon. They have nothing in common in the ideologies wise, the philosophies wise, or anything. But one thing they agreed upon: entropy. Very surprisingly, that their common thing they agreed upon is entropy. So the Shannon entropy was there is a province in Iran, is a Kermanshah province. In the beginning of the oil revolution in Iran, there is a province called Kermanshah. It is a very complex region. It's like topography is very complex. The mountains are there on one side, other side is the desert. One side you see camels, other side is huge trucks, and all those. These are all combinations. And then the people, one side of the streets are rice fields, other sides are industries, and then and the people are rich, poor, filthy rich, and dirt poor. All of them in one area. Once India has a lot of area in India also. A lot of places are like that. So there's a filthy rich to dirt poor. They're all in one place, and economically it's very complex topography. And then they used the Shannon entropy came to rescue. They employed a Shannon entropy to distribute and then existing resources more wisely to the people. You don't want to give resources to the people that they already have a maximum. You don't want to supply more. Even in this country, for example, in some of the MRIs and diagnostic places, they're sitting down there collecting dust, and the certain areas in the south side or north side, they don't have that many patients. In south side, they have a lot of patients. They don't have any place to find a MRI appointment for months. So we can combine these resources very well. We have to really work hard on this, and the entropy, we can employ the Shannon entropy to distribute the resources, existing resources. Actually, I created a MedBricks platform for that reason only. The MedBricks platform is the one provide that distributed mechanism, the distributed mechanism of the healthcare resources and healthcare on the go, on the fly, in fact. So we'll talk about that company later on, but MedBricks is the basis for that kind of a concept. So even the Turkey, Greece, other countries, they employed the Shannon entropy. There's no reason why we cannot use those kind of a powerful mathematics from American genius and like a Claude Shannon here. Um, you can detect, we can use for the, for example, to get the breast MRI, there is not a lot of approvals are there. So actually, it's a very difficult. They say to detect the breast cancer is like finding a needle in the haystack. It is. That's why we need a entropy can detect much better than it can help us. This mathematics to do much better diagnosis. So these are the among us. I want to tell you about this gentleman. These are the two people. The Boltzmann is a second, 19th century genius, second law of thermodynamics, who came up with this law. In fact, when he was talking about this law, and he was talking about the power of the law, not just the formula itself. When he realized it, how powerful it is, the law of entropy is so powerful. It starts from the beginning of the universe to the end of the universe. It takes you, the law of entropy is so powerful. It is the birth of the universe to the death of the universe. It takes. We are in between. You and me, we are just the molecules assembled together during this process, a statistical mechanical process. You see, assembled together, and then we are just dissolved into, again, as the time passes, our time comes, we are dissolved into the universe itself. So we are related to the birth and death of the universe itself. That's what the law for entropy, universal law, that is. So when he found out this deep secrets of the law, I think he tried to explain to his peers. They didn't understand him, and then unfortunately he committed suicide. And on his tombstone, his formula was mounted on his formula on his tombstone. He's one of the geniuses of the. You can violate any law on the universe. One law that you cannot violate, that is second law of thermodynamics. That is a law of entropy. So remember that this is you can apply in your daily life, whatever you food intake, your food. Can I go back to the yesterday food? Can I go back to feel like yesterday? That is, I'm feeling better. So can I feel it better like yesterday? That is a reversing back to the initial stage. Initial stage is a very powerful weapon. The Claude Shannon is a very, he became an MIT professor. He lived up to 2001. In fact, he's the one underappreciated genius of the American genius, in my view. He is such a he created a entropy. He gave a powerful mathematics in the today the computers you see, the technology you see, the phones you're using. You cannot you cannot do without a Claude Shannon's Claude Shannon's influence there. He's such a powerful influence in every part of science, in every part of technology, in fact. So, in fact, he created his Shannon entropy is a very interesting. Is they apply to the Twitter. English has become a very popular language around the world. And the reason is they say that's because of the low entropy. The entropy is lower. More the low entropy means order, more understanding. It is a higher entropy means it is difficult to understand. It is a more complex, higher entropy. So with the English is not an efficient language, but it has silent letters and then commas, punctuations. That makes you the entropy lower for the English language. That's why Twitter, you can say one word, one sentence, you can communicate. If you do Twitter in any other language, impossible to understand. One letter missing, you have to go back to write a poetry on that one. So that's Shannon entropy is everywhere. These two remarkable men. That is, I think we have to play. I will be talking more about entropy in other areas also. Why, if you are in the future, if you are interested in attending that one, I'll be talking every day, 9 p.m. Why we cannot get why we are getting older, why English is easier language, why economy, why all the Amazon orders, or when you're shopping, why these orders are associated with the environment itself, directly related to environment. So these are all the things I'll be talking in the future. But thank you for joining, and I will introduce you, Jennifer. We what we did was, we want to make it. This is not it is science. I strongly believe we failed to communicate science to general public. We made it so hard, and they think it is some mystery behind it. So we have to communicate. That's the only way people believe. People believe in vaccines. People believe in everything, because that is our responsibility to communicate. That's my simple one man's effort here, along with the Jennifer here, is effort to communicate these ideas. But the main thing I'm trying to do here is, not only I wanted to make it pop, very easy to understand, and we are also doing some merchandise along with it, so it will embed in our daily wear. It is our daily lifestyle. It becomes a lifestyle. So let me introduce you, Jennifer. Jennifer, please come in and show the what kind of a merchandise we have for these two gentlemen, particularly this kind of a. You may not have exactly same, but this kind of merchandise what we have on our website. They're available for these two gentlemen. You can buy on our website, but let Jennifer take over. Thank you, Jennifer.
You bet. Thanks, Romana. Thank you for sharing with all of these stories, because your extensive experience in healthcare, and your education in physics and nuclear engineering and computer science. I mean, you take these hard concepts, and bring them down to a level that we can understand. So, and that's one of the goals that we have when we wrote the book and put our 3-minute reads in there, so that you could understand these hard concepts in science and create some more curiosity. And so I'm excited that you're going to be talking a lot more about entropy. It's incredible to understand, and because in our book we have the 3-minute reads, so there's a lot more information that you can get from that. And so this is our book cover. Science is not a subject, science must be a lifestyle. And in there, we've got all of these short stories that Romana is going to be talking about, so it's really exciting. But we have merchandise that goes along with every single one of our stories. And so tonight he talked about entropy, and here's Ludwig Boltzmann, and we have him on a cup, our patented design, and it has our logo, which is awesome. And then we have another one that he'll be talking about later on. This is Florence Nightingale, and we put her on a bag, on a tote bag. But we've got all kinds of merchandise that kind of coincides with all of this, which is really exciting. And creating curiosity and putting some history with it. It's really exciting. So thank you, Romana. Looking forward to tomorrow. And I think maybe he clicked out. I'm not sure.
Okay, I'm here. I just I
There you go.
gave you
He's back.
the stage for
You're
you.
back.
I'm just behind the scenes. Thank
That's
you,
all right.
Jennifer.
Thank you
Wonderful.
very much.
Really, you eloquently described it. Thank you so much. Thank you all for joining. In fact, that I hope whenever you have time and join in 9 to 9 p.m. Every day. 9 p.m. Eastern time. Um, all over the world. Good morning, India, and good afternoon in England, and good is dinner time in the California, and the bedtime in the East Coast. But thank you all. Really joining for. Thank you for joining, and we'll continue to see you guys in the future. Thank you. Every day we are 9 p.m. here, and we'll be broadcasting. Thanks so much. Different subjects every day. So looking forward to. Bye.